me now is Lainie Phelps, and she is a family therapist for the Robert Alexander Center for Recovery. Lainie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You know, this is it's a serious topic, and I love the fact that, you know, we ask all of our guests who come on the show is like, help us understand what you do. And you took that very serious. You gave me some really deep questions, which I like. Okay, so let's keep it basic in the beginning here. As a family therapist, okay, why should a family be involved with the recovery process? Why?
Well, I mean, I think it's a lot of times when people do come into treatment, the family wants to be involved, right? Like they call all the time asking questions, but they want to be involved only if it has to do with their loved one. But they miss the point of where they have to also learn a lot of the things that their loved one is learning, because without knowing it, they can't really help.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So give me some examples of that. If I have a brother or a sister, an uncle, whoever, who's addicted and is trying to recover, what are some of the things I can do as someone who loves that person? How can I help them?
Well, the first thing that I always push all of my families to do, and if any of them are watching, I know they're going to laugh at me, is we have to figure out our emotions. And families are like, well, that's not going to help my loved one, right? That's always what I get. That's the answer I get. They're like, what do my emotions have to do with my loved one? But our emotions drive everything that we do, right? That drives the boundaries that we set. That drives the support that we give. That drives how we interact, how we communicate. And all of those things are things that we have to learn and change about ourselves in order to help our loved ones. It's the same thing that the loved one is learning in treatment.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. So I think what you're saying here is in some cases you have to take emotions out of it because you have to deal with them in a professional way and what they need rather than how you feel. I know it goes deeper than that. This is the question I love most that you gave me. I love this because I was trying to differentiate and I couldn't do it. So there's a difference between supporting someone who has an addictive personality and enabling someone who has an addictive personality. That's a fine line. So tell me the difference between the two and how you keep from enabling and still support them.
So that is like the #1 bingo question, right? Like everyone wants to know. This is like in a simple forms, what I say is enabling is whenever you do for them, and supporting is when you do with them. So there's a huge difference, and you know, a lot of times I've found family members of people who, you know, love people who struggle with addiction, they want to do everything for them because they don't believe they're capable of doing things. Right? It's like, oh, well, they can't go and get a driver's license, or they can't pay for their groceries, so I have to drive them here and then drive them there, and I have to get their groceries.
Then you're enabling.
Yep, you're enabling because they can do it. You're just not allowing them to show you that they can do it.
Interesting.
And yeah, I mean, if someone kept doing things for me, I'm not going to do it for myself, right? It's easier. And so that's where you have to figure out, am I doing it for them or am I doing it with them? Okay,
so doing it with them. Give me examples of supporting someone who is going through addiction and trying to recover. How do you support them? What are some, you know, give me some examples that you see at the Robert Alexander Center.
Yeah, so I have, you know, I have quite a few families where their loved one has lived with them, right? And they may be 30+ years old, right? And their child is living with them in the home because the family thinks that they can't live on their own, right? That's kind of this assumption that they have. Supporting would be when they go to treatment, and treatment will always say, don't go back home, right? Unless it's your own home. Supporting them would say, I will help whatever I can to get you where you need to be independent, right? So if that means you need $100 to get to sober living, I'll help you get to sober living, but I won't give you $100 to come back and live at my house and go grocery shopping or whatever it is. So there's a difference and that difference in itself, it's I'm going to give you $100 to help you be independent in a sober living environment, but I won't give you $100 to come live under my roof and, you know, spend it as you will.
That makes sense. You know what my dad would call that back in the day? He would call that tough love. Is that what you call? I know it's a little more technical than that now, but yeah, tough love. Okay.